Karim Adeyemi is a speed merchant. You'll know that if you've seen him play, or if you've signed him up on Football Manager, or if you've used him to devastate defences on FIFA. If you haven't heard of the Red Bull Salzburg teenager, then you're in for a treat. Welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel and my collaboration with the guys at Scouted Football. If you don't know who they are, they have a handbook where they reveal the best players that are about to dominate football, and that's exactly what we're doing in this series, revealing 6 players that are going to take over in 2022. Make sure you check out the other episodes in the series, and of course, if you want to win yourself one of 2 copies of the Scouted Handbook that will be given away in this video, make sure you stick around to the end. Karim Adeyemi is a German international forward, one you simply can't keep your eyes off. Unlike many top talents, he didn't have that much experience when it came to elite youth academies. He didn't experience much at all until the age of 16, instead coming through the SPVGG Unterhaching youth setup, where he pulled up trees, terrorised young defences and attracted scouts the length and breadth of Europe. Chelsea watched him, Liverpool watched him, Atletico Madrid made offers, RB Leipzig, Bayern Munich as well, who Adeyemi had been released by as a 10-year-old. And aside from that brief stint at Bayern, where reported attitude problems curtailed his career at the German club, he hadn't had that much experience at top-level youth academies. That was until he was 16, where FC Red Bull Salzburg swooped in to give him the first taste of professional football in his career. From that point onwards, he was schooled in the ways of the Austrian club. He was nurtured and developed in terms of top-level football, then sent out on loan to satellite club FC Liefering, who are essentially the reserves of RB Salzburg. Now, it mustn't be forgotten the influence that his mentors and coaches at Unterhaching had on his career, focusing on and off the pitch, in particular, club president Manfred Schwabel. He's more than played a part in producing one of the most exciting talents in world football for 2022. Karim Adeyemi could have been a statistic, but Unterhaching saw the potential that he had, and it looks like they're going to do pretty well out of it. Salzburg's investment is pretty significant, covering Unterhaching's annual budget for an entire year, so it's already paid dividends in that sense. But from Salzburg's point of view, they could, if they play their cards right, receive 10 times the amount they paid for him before the age of 20. Adeyemi is fast, direct and left-footed and loves to unleash a venomous shot. And you can see from his time at Unterhaching, at a lower league side of course, 75% of his goals were from lofted through balls. He personifies speed. But to dub him a speed merchant alone would be a disservice to an amazing, exciting talent. Despite limited time spent in professional football, he combines a youthful enthusiasm with a ruthless streak as well, making the most of his opportunities when he is put through on goal, knowing how and when to win fouls, as well as bringing others into play. It's for that reason that occasionally he has played on the left side of a 3-pronged attack, but undoubtedly this season has proven that he is best through the middle. 15 goals in 24 appearances in the Austrian Bundesliga and Champions League is an impressive return before the winter break in Europe, even if you are playing for the equivalent of the Harlem Globetrotters in Austria. Already this year, Adeyemi has won the joint most penalties in a single UEFA Champions League campaign, level with Arjen Robben in 2013-14. The difference being that Adeyemi managed to win his 4 penalties in 110 minutes across 2 appearances. 1 could be fortunate, 2 could be a fluke, 3 is beginning to look intentional, 4 is absurd. Adeyemi has great athleticism, which allows him to break free from opposition defenders, and at times he's almost like a one-man counter-attack. There are occasions where he kind of fails to hit the brakes and sort of stop down on that acceleration and overruns a little bit, but this is happening enough already that he will figure this out. He will deal with this and make as many mistakes as he needs to in his early 20s, so that by the time he gets into his mid-20s, at the very latest, that combined acceleration and finishing ability is going to be an incredibly scary prospect, unless you're the team that buys him from Salzburg. So let's talk transfer links. Karim Adeyemi will inevitably move on to a bigger club. He is part of that Salzburg conveyor belt that creates these exciting talents. Patson Daka, Haaland, of course, as well. And obviously people will see that easy link between RB Salzburg and RB Leipzig due to the ownership structures of both clubs. I think that's a fair one to say, especially with how in line they are in terms of how they play their football as well, and clubs that are affiliated with Red Bull normally, or Red Bull Leipzig, normally do pass on those players because the hierarchy is there and it's in place. It's very clear when it comes to moving on players. However, in recent days, there have been a few links between Ralf Rangnick and Karim Adeyemi, and the fact that he's a fellow German, and Man United is an exciting club. Rangnick's connection with Leipzig as well, the style of football that Rangnick's going to look to employ in the next year to 3 years, then maybe that's a link that could strengthen. So where could Karim Adeyemi be a good fit if a team wanted to stump up the cash in 2022? Well, teams who counter-press, ruthlessly. For example, Liverpool would be a great option for Karim Adeyemi. Now, counter-pressing isn't that hard to find these days in terms of teams, and even in the Premier League itself, there are a lot of teams that have that German ethos in terms of how they're playing. And the Premier League would be a good fit for Karim. Normally, with young players, you want them to maybe stay away from the Premier League because as a young foreign player, they have to develop in a game that is so physical and has so much speed to it. But that is Karim Adeyemi's strength. So he thrives on that fast-paced game, and it becomes almost a hunting ground for him. Liverpool would be such a good fit for Karim Adeyemi because the German forward ticks a lot of boxes. First of all, the fact that he's German, and of course the manager is as well. That would be a great fit in that sense. The style of play of Liverpool would fit him beautifully. If you think of the front three, that he can play in various roles within that, he would suit it really, really well. The speed that they play with as well when they look to counter-attack, that would suit the style of play that he's been playing at Salzburg as well. Liverpool were famously admirers of Timo Werner, and there are a lot of similarities between Timo Werner and Karim Adeyemi in terms of their styles both on the ball and off the ball. So it looks like it's a fit and a profile that Liverpool have been looking for a while. Lastly, as a young talented player who wants to get better, working with Jurgen Klopp, who makes good players great, is not a bad idea, is it? So why is Karim Adeyemi a name for 2022? Well, he's one of the hottest properties on the European market at the moment. He's 19, he's playing regularly in the league, of course, and in the Champions League as well, and he's just bound to take a similar route to Erling Haaland and Patson Daka before him. Adeyemi has not made that same impact in front of goal as Haaland or Daka has, but he's much more likely to make that move and go to a team where he can be the centrepiece. Also, just a description from Scouted Football of his style tells you everything you need to know in terms of a player that is going to attract a lot of attention next year. He's direct, aggressive, almost like the footballing equivalent of a bull shark. It's extremely difficult not to be attracted to his straight line speed. He is a magnetic player to watch. 2022 will almost certainly see Karim Adeyemi move on, if not to one of the clubs that we've spoken about earlier in this video, then to one of the top level sides. His contract runs out in 2024, and so if Salzburg want to get as much money as possible for him, they don't have a great deal of time. Simply, it's the conveyor belt of Red Bull Salzburg in action once again. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you go and watch every YouTube video you can find on Karim Adeyemi. But before you do that, make sure you check out the other episodes of Scouted Football, and if you want to win your own copy of this beautiful handbook, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and write down below, let's go with Emil Smith Rowe. Write that name in the comments right now. It will highlight to me that you've both subscribed, you've hit the like button, you've hit the notification bell, and you want one of these, and I will choose one of you, and you will get one. Happy days. Make sure you check out the other episodes, and I'll see you next time.